But like I said, he's a great guy. I've talked to him quite a bit on the phone and email and things like that. He's also come really highly recommended from guys like Topo and a few other guys I know very well. With that said, here he is, and to further introduce him in a better way than I can, I present to you guys Epic, who's a good friend of his. There you go, man.
Hi, thanks. I first met Adonis well over 3 years ago, back when I was first getting started in the community. He was living in Las Vegas. He moved up to Salt Lake City, Utah, which is where I was living. And he just came onto our lair forums. He was posting, and I'm like, who's this guy? From out of nowhere, he's posting like he knows more than the rest of us and giving all sorts of advice. Other people on the lair went out with him and said, yeah, this guy's cool, we should meet him. We went out once. First time I saw him, my first thought was, I should have told him I was going to say this, but my first thought was, he's a homely fella. But he was really cool. We sat, talked for 20 minutes, and after that I thought, well, you know, I've got to show my chops. I'm going to show him how well I can approach. So I went out and I opened a few sets and started doing some things. He was doing his own, and then it became obvious that this guy was really good. We became friends. We started going out a lot. Ratcheted my game up quite a bit. About a year and a half ago, we ended up being roommates. And that was just a crazy experience just because, well, one, I could pick his brain because this guy has an encyclopedic knowledge of pickup. He's been in the community for over 10 years. You know, he used to sarge with Ross Jeffries back in the day, and so I'd say something like, well, I read and I heard that, you know, Mystery said such and such. Actually, he got that from Swing Cat, but what originally it came from was, you know, stuff like that. And it was just fun. I mean, there were times that, I do remember one, it was about a week and a half, he didn't leave the apartment. He just went on MySpace like 20 minutes a day and had girls just show up. And I'd come home from work and there'd be a girl in bra and panties walking around the apartment or in less. And then, oh, excuse me, and like run into his room, and he walks out with in his boxers, his gut hanging out, and just walking back in the room. And it was just amazing to watch this guy. And as far as same night lays go, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. He's consistently just pulls girls in right when he meets them. And it's been just a pleasure to be with him. I've been helping out for the past month down in Las Vegas with these little underground boot camps he's been doing, just helping out, and it's just fun to watch. Good stuff. Anyway, without further ado, I give you Adonis.
Hey, gonna blush here. Like I was introduced twice. My name is Adonis. My real name is Nick Quick, so you can call me that as well. I don't really care. My real name sounds more made up, so we won't get into it. You can call me either. Doesn't matter. So, a lot of you guys have been to my site, Charming Rogue or The Secrets of Same Night Lays. A lot of you guys haven't. Some of you guys have heard of me, some of you haven't. So, what I specialize in is Same Night Lays. That's what I teach. This is what I do. It all started actually it was a little over a year ago. A friend of mine took me to lunch. He's actually in this room right now. And he wanted to pick my brain as to how I was able to get same night lays. He just noticed that every time we went out just about, I would pull that night. And at the time, I actually wasn't even sure exactly what I was doing. But since I'd been around for a while, I'd noticed a pattern. And it's going to be right here. If you want to get the girl, you need to sleep with her as quickly as possible. This is the maxim that was always in my mind. If you want to get the girl, you need to sleep with her as quickly as possible. I noticed that if I didn't get a girl into bed within like a week of meeting her, it almost never happened. I mean, on occasion it would take a little bit longer, but overall, if I didn't get her that night or within a week, it didn't happen at all. So the same night lay kind of came out of just that maxim right there. I want you guys to take a look at it. If you want to get the girl, you need to sleep with her as quickly as possible. Now, it also started basically because I am from Las Vegas, and it is a necessity in that town to be getting same night lays if you're getting laid at all. Why is that? It's a tourist town. So I meet a girl, she's awesome, we click, and I decide, oh, well, no, I got to play it solid. I got to go on a day two, I got a time bridge. And guess what? Tomorrow she's gone. Or tomorrow, you know, I mean, even girls that are living there, it's such a transitory town. People come and go and come and go. So I had to, out of necessity, be able to pull a girl this same night. That's what I want to teach you guys. So, there we go. You guys have probably heard of the 7-hour rule. Anybody heard of the 7-hour rule? Raise your hand. 7-hour rule? What is the 7-hour rule? You. 7-hour rule. You. Anyone? It is bullshit. 7 hours of comfort before you can have sex with her, right? Bullshit. Now, Mystery is a great pickup artist, and this was derived out of his style of game, and it is a number that he pretty much came up with arbitrarily because it doesn't even make sense. Think of this. You go out, you meet a girl. Say you go out at 10 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, you meet a girl you really like. This is the girl that you want to pull home. Let's do the 7-hour math. What time is it going to be? 11 o'clock is pretty early, too. So what time is it going to be 7 hours from then? What are you guys doing at 6 in the morning? Exactly. I'm sleeping, or I'm on round 2 or 3 or 4, depending on how much Viagra I've taken. The 6-hour rule doesn't, or the 7-hour rule does not make any sense. Makes none. Like, if I did that, I would just be, I'd be sleeping. So, it's one of the things that is kind of, it was a symptom of going indirect. Last-minute resistance, also kind of a symptom of going indirect. And so maybe under those kind of circumstances, you would need the 7-hour rule. I'm not sure. But we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between a one-night stand and a same-night lay. Does anybody, let's just get somebody, what's a one-night stand? Go.
You have sex with a girl and you basically never really talk to her or have any romantic feelings again.
Cool. Same-night lay. Possibility for, yes, that's very intrinsic, and you said you do it on the first night. So the difference is, like a one-night stand, you can know the girl for months and months and months and still have a one-night stand with her, and that just means that night it happened, no more. Same night late means that you meet her that night and you get her into bed that night, and it does not necessarily imply one-night stand. Like a lot of people will think that, you sleep with her one night, that means it's over. If you like the girl and you follow what I'm going to be talking about, you can sleep with her as many times as you want. You're not going to get any of that buyer's remorse or fool's mate or any of that stuff. So let's talk a little bit about some of the reasons. Reason number 1, you want to read that? Beautiful women have a never-ending buffet of cock. I'm just going to throw it out there. All right, so you meet a really attractive girl. She's an awesome girl. You want to sleep with her. And so you play everything right, you get her number, and everything's going well. And what happens? The next night she goes out, she's a beautiful woman. She's getting approached all the time. All the time. And not everybody out there is a chump. There are guys out there with game. There are guys out there that are sleeping with her. So if you don't get her the first night, a lot of the times what happens is just another guy comes along. It had nothing to do with you. She likes you, but somebody else came along. They always have those options. Attraction fizzles. Say you're doing everything right, you are in the moment, and everything is awesome. Everything is on with this girl. And then you get her number, and anybody ever had this happen? You get her number, and you call her the next day, no answer. You text her, no answer. Why? And we're going to even pretend here, or not even pretend, assert that she liked you, was legitimately into you, and wanted to sleep with you. Well, her attraction just fizzled. Like, the next day she wakes up, whatever. So there's some solutions. What you can have is a strong and compelling presence that just captivates her so that when you call the next day, she's just naturally wanting to answer the phone and go out with you. That's one way. But I'm going to ask you this. What's a more strong and compelling presence than the kind of guy that can sweep her off her feet and into your bed the same night? Seems pretty strong and compelling. So, let's go. There we go. So, here's another thing. I hate day twos. I hate phone games. I don't like talking on the phone. Anybody else like going on day two? I don't even like to say the word day two. I don't know what to call them anymore, what the hip term is, but day two dates. Anybody actually like doing that? Some people do. I don't. I don't like talking on the phone. I'd rather just get them the same night, and then I can talk to her whenever I want. Form the kind of relationship that I want. So the bottom line is, get her into bed quickly, or not at all. So after all of this, I just have a question for everybody here in the room. Who would like to be able to get same-night lays consistently? Raise your hands. Okay, cool, cool. All of those people raising their hands, keep them up, keep them up. I want to see you pull out a condom right now. Hold them up, everybody. You better have one, bro. You son of a bitch. Okay, cool, cool. By the way, these Trojan ecstasies, fuck yeah. There we go. Okay, so, guys, here's the thing. Same night lays is kind of a mentality. It's a mentality that the world is abundant. We got smokes. Is it in there? Nice. Sex is all around you. Sex can happen. I'm in a room full of dudes here. There is probably no chance that I'm going to get laid anytime in the near future. And yet, just in case, because when you start living the lifestyle that this is a reality, this is something that can happen anytime, you're going to always be prepared. You guys do have a condom rule, right? Except for Julian. All right, so in the breaks, I want you guys who didn't raise your hand with a condom, you're going to come talk to me. I want to see every one of you come up to me and show me the condom that you have on you. Because you're always going to be carrying them, right? Come show them to me. Okay. So, what style of game works for St. Night Lays? As Epic just brought up, I've studied it all. I've been around since '99. I've gotten every system that's reasonable to work. They all can be used to get St. Night Lays. I don't care. What style of game are you using? It's just kind of natural, just free flowing. Okay, cool. Let's see, who else? You. What kind of game are you doing? What's that? Indirect. Okay, like mystery, kind of indirect opinion openers, that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah.
RSD game.
RSD, okay. Natural, once again. In the moment, okay. Anybody else? Anybody want to offer up what they do? Okay, cool. Anyhow, the style of game actually is irrelevant. I tend to prefer direct because it saves you time, so it just speeds things up a bit. It doesn't give you the last-minute resistance that's sometimes endemic with doing that because all of a sudden, wait, you were talking about who lies more and now all of a sudden dick? It's just better to just be, here's my dick. So, here's pretty much the only two things that you really need to know. You need to know that you basically need to have this rock-solid, unwavering belief that she wants you and she wants to have sex with you specifically. Now, that gets into some inner game that I'm not going to go over, but you have to have that belief. The only way that she's going to be influenced in that way is if you actually believe that she wants to. And let me tell you this, and you've probably heard this before, but it hasn't really sunk into the back of your mind. Women want sex more than you do. They do. It's one of those things, if you don't believe me, read Sperm Wars by Robin Baker, read Nancy Friday's My Secret Garden. You guys have heard these books before, but if you read those, it'll be able to convince you more than anything that I ever could say that women want to have sex more than you do. Anybody here believe that? I mean, hopefully we all do. Right? Okay. Women want to have sex. So, just burning that thought, and sometimes I have to go out and remind myself while I'm out, because, you know, I grew up with this whole mentality that women gave it as a gift. It was something that they didn't really like to do, but like if they really love you or whatever, they would give that. So I even have to remind myself, women want to have sex more than I do. If you keep that in the back of your mind as you go out, you're going to find a huge shift in your results. And the second one, and this is the one that I mainly want to talk about, is logistics. You need to be in a place where sex could realistically happen. Like, I'm up here right now, say I had a girl and we were hitting it off, chances are it's not going to happen right there. We need to be in a place where it can realistically happen. And that's where we're going to talk about logistics. Kind of went over this a little bit. If you think about it, women want sex, everything they think about, fashion, pop culture, music, social value, it's all tied into that. It's all tied into their mentality of, well, survival and replication. They want to have sex. So, let me actually talk about this for a second. This one's an interesting one. She's in a nightclub and she wants to have sex with someone new. Period. Now, I'm sure there's a few exceptions, but overall, if you see her in a nightclub, why is she there? You think she likes wearing those high heels? You think she, I mean, they're uncomfortable. We can ask the girls in the back. High heels, they're comfortable, right? You feel good wearing those all night, right? Awesome. They hurt. Takes a long time for them to get ready. They get dolled up. Why are they doing this? Because they want to have sex. Now, there's, if you ask a woman this, they're most likely going to say, no, I'm just there. I want to dance or I want to catch my friends. But if they really wanted to do that, I don't know, they can dance in their living room, right? They had a little party in the backyard, dance there. They could go buy a bottle of Grey Goose. It would be a fraction of the price. Like, I don't know if you've been to Vegas and bought a bottle there. Jesus Christ. You know, we're talking like $1,000 to get that bottle. They could do this cheaper elsewhere. Now, one more thing. If they're in a club, they want to have sex with somebody new. If they wanted to have sex with somebody they already knew, pick up their phone, look at it, respond to any of the number of texts that they're getting, like, hey, what's up? Or they can send out a mass text. Who's ever received one of those mass texts where the girl's bored and she's, hey, what's up? And just to see who's, going to offer to do something. Anybody? Yeah. Happens all the time. So keep that in mind as you're out of the nightclub. Okay, so this is very, very key right here. One thing that I'm going to kind of differ with a lot of the schools out there, there's this whole notion, and I think it's right here, we're going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it right now. There's this whole idea of plowing. Has anybody heard the term plowing? Raise your hand if you've heard it. Cool. What's plowing?
Plowing is just talking and going on the matter of response.
Right. Basically, it's you meet the girl and you just push. You don't feel it's going all that well, but you just keep staying there, right? I'm going to tell you this right now, I don't plow. I think plowing is a waste of time, and especially if you're going for same night lays, it's a waste of time. Like, why keep pushing a girl it's not logistically possible? We're going to talk a little bit about how to find out if it's logistically possible in a minute, but why do that? You're just going to waste your time, and at the end of the night, clock runs out, go home alone. Sucks. So what I do recommend, though, is escalating, and here's the difference. You find a girl that is logistically capable, she's a logistical candidate for a same-night lay, that's when you strike, and that's when you start escalating the interaction as much as possible. This is when you do want to just push things because she's very likely, if you can just escalate things, if you can notice when she's ready for that escalation and just push in that direction, then you're going to get that same-night lay. Does this make sense, everybody? Do you see the distinction between the two? Anybody confused about that? Anybody here like plowing? Anybody gone to a boot camp and they say, keep going, keep going? Sucks, huh? I don't like it, but here's how we're going to find out which girls are actual candidates for the same night lay. There's 5 questions you need to ask in every interaction. If you go out with me, I'm going to be drilling you on these 5 questions. Did you ask these? Did you ask these? Because this is how you're going to find out. Number 1 and number 2, you've heard them before, and they're kind of interrelated, so I'm going to address them at the same time. Got who are you here with, and how do you know each other? You guys have all heard this. This is basic stuff. But why do we need to know this? Who's she here with? Say she's sitting there by herself. Women rarely go out to clubs by themselves. Sometimes they do, and if they do, if you find a girl that's out by herself, that's about as likely of a logistical candidate as you can find. So escalate like crazy with that girl. But chances are she's going to be there with her girlfriend. She might be there with some guys. She might be there with her brother. She might be there with a boyfriend. She might even be there with a guy that she's on a first date and she doesn't like the guy. But is she going to go home with you? Probably not. I mean, it could happen. Maybe if you're really, really amazing, that could happen. But there's going to be better candidates out there. Did you have a question? Oh, okay. And by the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand at any time, and I'll slow down or I'll answer. So, yes?
This can also be answered later if you want to answer it out.
No. Let's...
I'm just curious, like, if your logistics aren't bad, how would you still push for, like, an SNL?
I'm going to get to that in a minute, but here's what you're going to do. Say that you like the girl, she's fun, she's cute, all those things that you're looking for, but the logistical criteria, she doesn't fit. Get her number. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do a little bit later in the presentation, what you're going to do with that as kind of your insurance policy, as your backup.
Also, I meant like if you still want to push for the SNL without like.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
Like, oh, okay.
Basically, get her number. And that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be asking these questions. If she doesn't fit into this criteria, get her number. And then move on. There's no sense wasting all night because there's nothing worse than, and raise your hand if you've had this happen. You're talking to a girl, everything's awesome, like you're just getting along, there's that flirty vibe, it's fun. You're like, God, I like this girl, I can't wait to take her home, and it seems like it's going to happen, and then what happens at the end of the night? Oh, my boyfriend's here, gotta go. Anybody had that happen? Fucking sucks, doesn't it? I think there's nothing worse than like having that whole night wasted when you could have been talking to girls that were able to go home. So, how do you know each other? You just need to know the relationship. You need to know if this is the brother, if this is the girlfriend, or this is the sister of the girl's boyfriend, like happened to him and I the other day. You need to know these kind of things. It's going to determine, because if they're friends, you can win over the friends and make this happen. If it's her boyfriend or she's on a first date, probably not. How did you get here? And this is especially important if you're on the West Coast. I'm not sure how it is here on the East Coast as much, but in the West Coast, everybody drives. Everybody has a car. They go to the bar. You know, on the East Coast, I guess they take public transit and stuff. They can get there other ways, take cabs, that kind of stuff. But you need to find out the driving situation. Reason being, you need to know how she's going to get home at the end of the night. If she's got all of her girlfriends and she drove, it's going to be a little bit trickier to make it happen. You can make it happen, but it's going to be a lot trickier. If she drove herself, she's by herself, it's going to be that much easier for her to be able to go home. This one right here, this one's important. What are your plans for later? This one sounds like a pretty innocent question, right? Sounds pretty innocent. But this is about as close as you can get to like a secret code. This is basically saying, do you want to fuck later? In women's minds. And if you've heard a woman ask you this, that's basically what she's saying, give or take. So you need to know what her plans are for later. The best answer is like, I don't know, what are you doing? That's a very big green light. She says, I don't know. You can still work with that. She says that she has to get up. Okay, well, see exactly what's going on. That's why the fifth one is important, because what time do you have to get up in the morning? If she's got to be to class or to work at 4 in the morning, chances are you're not going to be able to pull that. Plain and simple. I mean, some girls would lose a job over a guy, and if she would, I would question whether she's the kind of girl you'd want to hook up with, but most girls aren't going to lose their job over hooking up, so you need to know that one, okay? So you go through these questions, you find out if she fits in, then you're free to proceed. Now, there's actually a little bit of an alternative to this question because I live in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, it doesn't really make any sense to ask, how'd you get here? What time do you have to get up in the morning? But what you can do, if you're ever in Las Vegas, and who doesn't love Las Vegas, it's the SNL capital. You're going to want to ask what hotels she's staying in, and it might actually even be the same here in Orlando since it's so touristy, but where she's staying and who she's staying with. That way you can find out the room situation and if that's possible or if you have to pull her back to your place. So if you're ever in Vegas, keep that in mind. Okay, so we've got that. We've found a logistical candidate, and now this is where the real work comes in. We need to start building sexual tension. So let's talk a little bit about what sexual tension is. Basically, it's the gap or the boundary between things that you want to do and what you can actually do. The things that you want to do, but the gap in between what you can actually do. So let's talk a little bit about how you can create this. And I've come up with two main ways that this is created, and they're kind of reciprocal. There's one way is you can create it by having a very sexually charged internal state, but you're talking neutral. You're talking about puppy dogs or whatever. You're talking about her job. Neutral things. In that gap between you talking normal and on the inside, here's what I do. I imagine her giving me the most amazing blowjob on the fucking planet. I just see her head bobbing up and down and those little eyes looking up. That's what I'm thinking. That creates this internal state that is kind of confusing. Have you ever been around somebody who's in a bad mood and you find yourself, maybe you were in a good mood, but all of a sudden, fuck the world. You're in that same bad mood. Women are even more susceptible to this than you are. So the fact that she can sense on the internal, you are being very sexual, but you're talking neutral, it just confuses her and causes that gap to occur. Now, the converse is also true. You can be overtly sexual, and this is a lot of what I like to do is say stuff that are completely overtly sexual. Stuff like, you know, it's too bad we're in a bar, or I would take you right here on this couch and just fuck the shit out of you, but we're in a bar, so we can't do that. Now, if I were to say that and be really turned on or really sexually charged, especially early in the interaction, she's going to get creeped out. It's going to weird her out. A lot of how indirect methods started in the first place is because a lot of guys were kind of creepy, weird, and they were needy. So they needed to go indirect just to kind of camouflage this. But I'm going to tell you right now, you can open with sexual stuff. I do it all the time. In fact, that is one of the things that I found that works really well. But when you do that, you got to make sure that you are internally neutral so that you don't give off any vibe that you're sexually needy, creepy, or weird. Does that make sense? Everybody? Yeah? Okay. So this is how you create it. Now we're going to talk about a tool that has been talked about quite a bit, and a lot of people don't understand as much. So we're going to talk about sexual framing. In order to understand sexual framing, we need to have a working knowledge of cognitive dissonance. Anybody here know what cognitive dissonance is? Go ahead.
It's like when you have two conflicting ideals.
Two conflicting ideals about the self, basically. Two conflicting ideas about the self, or two conflicting beliefs about the self, and what it does is it causes a lot of discomfort. You feel really awful when you have two different beliefs that are simultaneously contradictory, but you're holding them at the same time. And so what do you do to get rid of that discomfort? You rationalize one of the beliefs away. What happens when this occurs, when the cognitive dissonance is released, is endorphins are released in the brain. It causes a rush. So say you see Obama speak, and on one speech he's saying that he's going to end the war, and then in another speech he says that he's going to escalate the war. And you're thinking, well, I like Obama, but he's giving me different answers. And you come up with a way that, oh, well, he means he's going to end it in Iraq and go somewhere else. Or something like that. And you go, okay, cool. And you're that much more excited that, yeah, I love that guy. This is what happens when you are escalating things properly. She will see that, she'll have this belief that she's not a slut. And when I say the word slut, I don't mean that is anything derogatory. It's more a weapon that women use against each other to lower their social value. I have no judgments on sexuality, how people behave sexually. So basically, she will have this idea that, you know, only easy girls or slutty girls will allow escalations to occur. And I'm not a slutty girl, but escalations are occurring with this guy. Well, then I must really like this guy, so it's okay. Does that make sense? So when she does that, endorphins are released into her brain, and she gets really excited. This is basically how sexual framing works. So we're going to go into some of the sexual frames that you want to set. There's a whole bunch of them, and this is by no means a comprehensive list. This is just some stuff that are good, and you don't have to set all of these. If you get just a few of them, you're going to be just fine. So we got sexually aggressive when she is with someone she really likes or is attracted to. Adventurous, spontaneous, goes for what she wants, does what she feels like doing. She's great in bed. She can keep secrets, has a naughty side she wishes she could act on more often. She does the craziest things when she knows she won't be judged for it. Frequently incredibly horny. Open to new experiences. loves the romance and excitement of things happening quickly. She wants to be swept off her feet. You guys ever read a romance novel? It's what happens all the time. So uninhibited, craves new sexual experiences. Now, the next one isn't one that you want to set on the girl, but it's something that you want to be yourself. You want to be non-judgmental. I brought it up earlier. Little story on this. A friend of mine he met this girl. We'll call my friend Jack, and the girl was Kristen. He'd met the girl. He had been talking to her all day, and this girl was clearly into him. She'd been pretty much puppy dog, chasing him around all day. Had a whole day head start, and I came in and met this girl, and it was clear that she was into this guy. But then something happened. He started telling story after story about how this girl, she hooked up with this guy really quickly, and how he thinks that's wrong. And he just told 3 stories like this, and then what happens? Well, think about it. He's wanting her to get into bed quickly that night, and yet at the same time, he's telling stories about how he judges women for going into bed quickly. Do you think he got her that night? I got her that night, and I did almost nothing. I feel bad, and I'm sorry, Jack, but them's the breaks. You have to, and this is something that you have to actually be. You have to not be judgmental about people's sexual behavior. People are sexual creatures. They have different practices. They have different beliefs and whatnot, but you can be judgmental about it if you want to get women very quickly. So, I'm not going to go over all this, and I don't know how much time I've been up here. Okay. I'm going to go over some of the tools. I'm not going to go over all of these. If you want to know more about a lot of these, you can just talk to me during the break. And definitely, guys, come up and talk to me. First one, we don't count. I'm going to give you a little bit of an analogy. It's the analogy of the used car lot. It's common knowledge that if you go to a car dealership and you buy a car, it loses its most value when it drives off the lot for the first time. Women tend to view their sexual behavior in the same way. They lose most value the first time they have sex with the guy, but then after that, it's free reign. They can do whatever they want. So that's just a way to look at how they view sexuality, but they always have reasons why it doesn't count. Like if you ask a girl what her count is, and I'm not, I wouldn't recommend even asking that, but if you ask them, they'll say like 3, 7, whatever. There's always those ones, and if you do quiz them on it, they'll be, yeah, well, there's that one, but I was on the rebound, or there was that one where, well, I was drunk. That's a good one. I was drunk, so it doesn't count. Now, you can actually do this. You can give her an excuse for her. You say, you know what? We're going to hook up tonight, but it doesn't count. Doesn't count. And give her a reason why it doesn't count. And the thing about this tool is, the more ridiculous, the better. I have made this one work when I said, it doesn't count because you're married, so it doesn't count. It doesn't even make sense. She's like, oh yeah, okay. So we don't count. All right, so let's go into passive acceptance and compliance. Basically, this is an idea that if you're basically telling her what you're going to do, and if she doesn't leave, you're going to continue to do it. So you want to say, like, if you continue to look cute, I'm going to be forced to hit on you all night. Or you can say something like, if you just keep this up, if you don't walk away right now, I'm going to be forced to try to get you into bed later. Now, by her not walking, short of her walking away, she's pretty much gave her compliance that, yeah, that you're going to flirt with her. Whether she says, even if she says, no, don't do that, she's given that acceptance. So it kind of leads into this next one is blame all the flirtations on her. If you're escalating, I like to say a lot of fucked up things. Some people, if they listen in to what I was saying to girls, they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? I will say really sexual stuff, but I'm going to blame it on her. So, like, here's an example of something that I would do to use that tool. I'm having a normal conversation. She's talking about her job and how boring it is or whatever. I will stop, pause, go, you know what? I'm trying to listen to you, and this is really awesome that you're bored, but the entire time, I'm just thinking about taking you over to that couch and fucking the shit out of you. It's your fault. Quit putting those thoughts in my head. Stuff like this. Now, she has to take responsibility for that, but it is a great way to get her thinking down those sexual paths. Qualification. Okay, we all know what qualification is. We always ask stuff like, I don't know, what's something that you guys qualify a girl on? Anyone? Spontaneous.
Do you sing?
What's that?
Do you sing?
Do you sing? Cool.
Hot voices a lot.
You like hot voices. That's good. If that's something you're looking for, great. You can also use qualification to qualify her for sexual stuff. It's great that she can sing, and I hope she sings my name when I'm fucking her later. But I'd rather qualify her on things that are actually going to be useful for getting her into bed that night. So, what are some of the things that I like to qualify girls on? That's one of the things that I'll do is you can even challenge her. I'll be like, you know what? Every girl I've talked to, they always claim to give the best blowjob in the world. And I've noticed that most girls are just okay. She's going to want to be like, wait, no, mine really is. That's one way to get her to qualify. Let's see, what's another example of that? Pardon me for a second here. I'm going to take a... Okay, yeah, another one that I like to do. Look at her and be like, looking at you, you look like a normal, nice, well-adjusted girl. But I detect a serious naughty side. That's going to, if you do that, especially if you do that really early in the conversation, that's going to just unlock a different pathway. If you open up that pathway early in the conversation, she's going to be thinking down those lines, and she's going to be wanting to conform to those ideas of being a naughty girl, and all girls have that naughty side. In fact, all of the sexual frame that I have brought up, they all have aspects of themselves that is those things. And that's what these tools do, is basically it allows them to be able to express that side that they already possess. We're let's see, I'm going to do the next two. The other ones you can look up, they're online. They're kind of common stuff. So, why are Vegas girls so friendly? I like to use why are Vegas girls so fucking wild. Use that as an opener. And basically what you're doing is you are telling her right now, you can use friendly, if you open a girl and you say, why are girls in Las Vegas so fucking friendly? Pretty much they now have to behave friendly towards you. I've only had this happen once where one girl said, we're not. But other than that, I mean, if you get that, you already know, okay, this girl's going to be no fun, so. But you can frame them that way. Why are girls in Vegas so fucking wild? Now she feels like she has to live up to those expectations of being wild, and she'll start behaving in a way that is wild. Try that. Try that tonight. Try opening with something like that and see what happens. Okay, one last one. This one's just a fun one. You look just like my friend Brianna. And the thing about Brianna is she is the most spontaneous, wild, God, that girl's got a naughty side, and she is just a riot to hang out. She's so much fun, and she is adventurous as fuck. Now, I didn't say that she, the girl that you're talking to, is that, but I have compared her to somebody who looks just like her that is that way, and she's going to find herself compelled to feel the same way. She'll start behaving in the way that you've framed her to be. Those other ones you can look up. Okay, anybody here, raise your hand if you have ever been in an interaction. It's going pretty well, and all of a sudden you just run out of shit to do. Anyone? Happens to me all the time. Okay. 3 default moves that you can do that will help you to escalate, and this is just what I do every time I have like a brain fart and I'm not sure what to do. One, I will come up with a ridiculous role play. Make something up. I've got one, Bonnie and Clyde, but just come up with the most ridiculous shit. A lot of the times it's best if you come up with a role play that implies that you guys have a sexual relationship, one that you've been in for a while. So, we've been together for 6 months, and, what are we going to do on our night together? Stuff like that. Or, I would dress you up like a nun, and I'd be a priest, and I would fuck you right over there. Anything, it doesn't matter. Just make stuff up. Okay. Qualifier, we went over what you could do there. If you ever run out, just qualifier on something. Like, is that time up? Okay. Move her. Okay, so move her around the venue. That's another thing. I've noticed that if you can move a girl 3 or 4 times around the venue, you can move her home. So if you're ever just bored, like, hey, what's over here? Or I want to show you this room over here. Even if you don't know what's over there, just let's go on an adventure. All right, I'm not going to go over these because I would need to really demonstrate them, but if you come up to me in the breaks, I'll explain these even more. I'm going to do a few of these closing tactics, and then I'll wrap it up. I'm not going to do all these again. I'm not going to go over Le Chateau. I'm going to go over avoid the bounce. Okay, there's this thing. You guys all have heard about the bounce. You meet a girl, what you should do next is bounce her over to a diner or bounce her somewhere else. I've actually found that when I do that, I lose momentum. So I say avoid the bounce. How about if you're going to bounce her to your place? What happens a lot of the times is you will be eating at the Denny's or something, whatever's open 24 hours a day, and all of a sudden her drugs start wearing off, the alcohol starts wearing off, she starts getting tired, the food starts filling her up, she doesn't feel as sexy, she's winding down. All of these things could have been alleviated if you just would have taken her home. So I say, if possible, just avoid the bounce altogether. Just get her home. Setting up a meetup for later. Okay, so this is one of the things I learned this from Captain Jack, but it's one of those things where the term time bridge, you guys are all probably familiar with it. You want to set that up as a meet for later. I do that, but I do that not because I actually want to go on that time bridge, or I don't want to necessarily meet them. I can if I want. But if you're in the interaction and you set up something like, hey, I love to smoke hookah, and there is this most perfect chill hookah lounge that I go to every Wednesday. I want you to come with me. And you set that up, she's going to feel a lot more compelled to join you and go home because in the back of her mind, well, you know what? I am going to see him again, so yeah, I guess it's okay if I go home. We've got this set up later. Now, I've actually hardly ever gone on these things that I've set up for the future. So you set it up there, and it works for the same night pull. So that's that one. Finally, I want to talk about fear of the empty apartment. This is basically the answer to your question. Also, another thing that Captain Jack does a lot as well. Fear of the empty apartment. You got her number, right? It's a girl that just logistically wasn't able to go. But you've got a bunch of numbers, you've gone out, you've interacted. If you've done this right, you probably have a whole cell phone full of numbers. What you're going to do if you happen to be leaving, you didn't meet a girl that you could the same night late, and you're going home alone. Not necessarily. What you're going to do is send out a text to all those girls that you met. I know this goes against a lot of standard games. Send out a text. Here's the thing. I first started thinking about this when I saw a movie called Roger Dodger. Anybody seen that? It's a good movie, right? There's that scene where he's trying to, basically here's the premise of the movie. Young boy trying to learn how to get women. His uncle's somewhat of a playboy. He knows how to get women, so he wants his uncle to instruct him on how to do that. And there's one scene where it's getting towards the end of the night, and he tells his nephew that, okay, well, it's the fear of the empty apartment. Girl goes out, she's all dolled up. She doesn't necessarily want to be the girl that's sitting in her apartment by herself feeding her cat at the end of the night. It's no fun. It's an empty apartment. No girl wants to be that. They want to be with the kind of guy that is so charming, compelling, and does all of those things that make her feel so good. That's what she wants to be doing. So send out a text to all these girls. Hey, what's up? You're going to find that a lot of the times you're going to get a text back. Like, I don't know, well, I'm just sitting at home. Invite her over. There you go. That's what you're going to do. Invite her over. You'd be surprised how often they will actually do that. And that's kind of just your insurance policy. Okay? Get her friend's permission. Say she's there with a bunch of friends. Yes. Question.
I'm gonna ask a brief question about what you were just talking about. Do you send that text to like which girls do you send that text to? Like the most recent ones you just number closed?
Yeah.
Like from that night?
Yeah, the ones that I met that night.
Okay, just that night. Okay.
I mean, you could potentially do it to everyone, but usually the ones that night, you know they're out and about. Those are the ones that you're going to want to send that to because you're going to be fresh on their mind, hopefully, if you've done it right.
But let's just say like your apartment isn't available. Like how do you get around that?
That one makes it tricky. If you don't have a place to go, you're going to pull her somewhere else, dude. Pull her to your car. Do you have a car? Do you have a friend's house, a brother's house that you can take her? I mean, you can go to her house. The problem with going to her house, and I was actually going to get to this, if she insists on going to her house, the problem with that is that it's her place, she's master of the domain. It's kind of hard to control the logistics when you're there, but you can go to her place. And some girls insist on that. So that would be your best bet, or find a place, dude. Like any place, I don't know, take her back behind the dumpster, take her to the bathroom. I personally find that disgusting, but I've done more disgusting things than that, so I won't get into those. Glazed donut. All right. I'm not going to really go over baby stepping. Basically, you just want to, okay, so she doesn't want to go home. Just take her, have her take you to the car. This is another Captain Jack idea. Just take her to the car. Say you're too drunk to drive home. Can she drive you home? That kind of thing. Just little by little, get her to your place. And then get her friend's permission. I was going to go into that. So you met a girl that's a good candidate, and you like her, everything's going well, but she's got those friends. She's got the friends that always want to block it. Well, one thing is if you have been friendly to them, they like you, they enjoy you, they think you're a cool guy, you can just straight up ask their permission. Like, we're going to leave right now. Are you cool with that? Like, we like each other. And most of the time, you can even say, we're going to leave right now. We're going to go to XYZ, wherever. Make someplace up. Don't typically say your house, but say we're going to go there. You can join us if you want. Rarely are the girls going to actually want to join it. They're usually socially savvy enough to know that that's a situation where, okay, cool. If you get their friend's permission, that also gives her more permission to feel like, okay, this is perfectly acceptable. This is fine. So once you get him back to your place, and let me grab a drink of water really quick. I'm not going to give you really any closing tactics on that. Think of this. You met her out on a night in a bar, and you got her back to your place. Why is she there? Well, now, granted, you've probably given her an excuse like you were going to go there to smoke hookah, but is she really there to smoke hookah? Probably not. The girl is there to have sex. So just make it happen. I don't want to get any more graphic than that. It's the bottom line. She wants to hook up. That's why she's there. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to read, you don't mind if I read these? All right. I'm going to read some emails from some recent students that have tried going out with me and using my tactics and stuff, so give me just a second here. Okay, here's one. And pardon me while I squint at this. Let's see. So, stuff has started to get crazy since the boot camp. Slept with a new girl last night. I'd met her last semester and hung out a few times. Fingered the birthday girl on Thursday night, haha, after we accidentally gave her a really bad concussion while play fighting. Girl on Wednesday night after I got back, tries to blow me in a parking lot and fuck me in a car. Let's see, 2 42nd makeouts at a house party on Saturday night, and one on the street, I say hi, spin, and make out. A hot high schooler, college girl, met two nights ago, demands I get her number in front of all of her friends and texts, and demands I take her out on a date ASAP. Last 5 days, more stuff has happened than in the past 3 months. Thanks again, and an awesome boot camp. A lot of other crazy stuff has happened since then, yeah?
Quite a lot.
I won't have him get into it, but this stuff is powerful. It sounds very, it sounds pretty simple, and it actually is pretty simple. I wouldn't even say this is necessarily an advanced game. All it takes is just like a little bit of the basics, and you can start applying this to any approach method that you're using. So I'm just going to wrap this up with some questions. Anybody have any questions?
Do you have any experience with same day lays? Like, let's say you meet a girl at the mall and just pull her right there back to your place, rather than maybe meeting up with her later. I understand like the whole day 2 philosophy, but just something that's more efficient and a quicker escalation with that.
For day game, I'm going to lay it out right now. I don't do a lot of day game. In Las Vegas, even day game seems a lot like night game, especially if you're out on the strip, you're talking to girls during the day. A lot of times they're drunk. So I don't really, it resembles more of night game. So I'm going to say no, I don't really do a lot of day game. So you can talk to Sin about that. He's a great guy for doing the same day stuff.
And also, do you think you could talk a little more about like bathroom pulls and car pulls, so like in venue lays?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't do a lot of bathroom pulls. I've done them. I actually kind of find it disgusting. So, I mean, there's places that you could do it, and a lot of the times for doing that, it's just finding girls that are just crazy and would do stuff like that. You got to seriously screen for that. And the other thing you would do is just ramp up her sexual tension so much that she is horny as fuck. And there's a lot of other tools that I can give you that will get her extremely horny in the moment and right there. And that's when you want to pounce. Story about that is I was actually at a juggler workshop a couple years ago, and Johnny Savior was there talking about getting the HJ clothes. And so that night I'm like, well, shit, HJ clothes. I'm going to go do that. Yeah, I'm ridiculous. I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it while I'm out tonight. So I went to Carnival Court in Las Vegas. You guys know where that is? He knows where it is. One of my favorite places to go because girls are just crazy there. It's not like Target rich as much, but go there, meet this girl, get her dancing on the dance floor. One thing that I'll do to get them really going is once I know that they're feeling that inside in the first place, this is a ballsy move, by the way. I will, you've heard the move where you like take them and put their hand right here. I take it, put their hand right here. I don't know, almost every time that I do that, it just gets them fucking going. And that's pretty much what I did with this girl. We were dancing, just took her hand right there. So stuff like that, you got to like really be pushing like that sexual, and you got to get her horny as fuck. And that stuff is possible. I hope that answers it, but I don't know if I could really go into greater detail. It's just getting her extremely horny. And, I'm an attractive dude, even though he says I'm ugly. So why wouldn't they be horny? That's the belief in the back of my head. When I look in the mirror, I see a sexy son of a bitch, and why wouldn't she want to fuck me right there in the bar? A lot of it's just the mindset. I saw another hand somewhere. Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can phrase this. You said to get permission from her friends.
Yeah.
And you said not to tell the friends that you're taking her back to your place.
You can, but it's usually better if they think you're just going off to do something innocent.
Right. And so, like, you said not to bounce, so...
Oh, I didn't say to take her to someplace else.
Okay.
You're going to take her to your place.
Oh, right.
Just it gives her friends plausible deniability. You can even tell her that we're going to go here and like, oh, now we're going to actually go here. Or one of the things up there that I didn't really go over is Le Chateau. A lot of you guys have heard this about naming your place something else. You'll be like, my old house I used to call it Le Chateau. Now my new house we call it the Pleasure Hole. But any girl that's willing to go to the Pleasure Hole, it's this place that has booze. It flows all night. And there's dancing. Like people have been known to do it till the sun rises. There's even bowling and a hot tub. Like this is a crazy place. Now, don't go too far with this. Like, she's like really like trying to get like more information on what is this after hour spot. It's my place, you goofball. Let's go. So, yeah, does that answer it? Basically, you tell them something and you just take her home. Like I had to do something like this recently. I met this really cute little hairdresser that was from Kentucky at Excess in Las Vegas. And she was there all weekend on this hairstylist convention with her bosses. And I was just asking, has this been like the wildest weekend of your life? And she's like, actually, no, I've been with my bosses the entire time. So long story short, I ended up like, well, let's go. She's like, well, I can't let them know that I'm going. I'm like, okay, well, just tell them that you're tired and I'll meet you outside in front of the club. She doesn't have to see us leave together. Another way that you can do that. So she left her bosses there, went home. Okay. Does that clear things up? Okay, cool. I saw another hand. You were about to raise your hand, yeah? No? Okay.
Actually, just do you have any like videos or anything like on YouTube or anything that shows what you're doing and stuff like that?
Yes. Not currently. Actually, the guy whose spot that I'm replacing today, Entropy, has a bunch of video of me doing this kind of stuff. I've also recently acquired the equipment to do infield video as well. So watch for it. It's going to be out very soon. You'll see a lot of me doing this infield. So you can see exactly what I'm doing. And I know I kind of gave you a really quick crash course that may not be as comprehensive as is necessary. But at the same time, it's actually more simple than you think. I mean, that's one of the biggest realizations. We'll ask Dan again since he's attended a boot camp. Is it simple?
Yeah, I think it's just hearing it repeated a lot that it eventually sort of...
Just hearing it repeated a lot, I think I've always heard it, but eventually seeing it done obviously helps on the second night and with me. But yeah, I guess it's pretty simple.
I don't want to talk about that night, but I'm going to say this right now. I will jump on grenades. If you come on a program with me, I will jump on a grenade so that you get some prime. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And I'll say, glazed donut, which you can ask me about that later. All right. Somebody else. Yeah.
There's that slide, like 3 back that you skipped over about hair pulling and smacking.
Yeah.
You talked about that briefly, and that was actually some really interesting stuff to me, just the things that you do that some of these I'd heard them, but not in the way that you use them, the philosophy behind them.
Okay, I'll do the first two, because those are fairly straightforward. There is something about pulling a woman's hair, and if you do it right, when you go right up the back of the neck and grab right here and just pull really hard down, I swear to God, I'm not going to say this is scientifically true, but it's wired directly to their pussy. Like, you do something like this, it just gets them really fucking excited. Now, one little caveat on this. If you're going to do this move, be a little bit aware. A lot of really attractive girls, they're going to be having hair extensions and whatnot. They're not going to appreciate this if you reach up and pull those out because they're fucking expensive and a pain in the ass. So if you reach up and you feel little bead-like things in her hair, be savvy enough to not pull. Otherwise, go right ahead. And if you can do this early on in an interaction, you're going to see that sexual charge just fucking spike. Ass smacking, another thing. I don't know if it's like daddy stuff or what, but if you smack a girl's ass, it's once again just wired to her pussy. So one of the ways that I like doing this, if I've found a girl that I enjoy, that is somebody that I'm going to be trying to pull same night lay with, I will break the rule that you're not supposed to buy girls drinks, right? Well, I will buy a girl a drink if after she's already qualified herself and I find that she's somebody that I really want to hook up with and she's the kind of girl that I like. So one thing you can do is what I call the slap shot. And what that is you take the girl to the bar, and I'm going to finish this up and then I'm done. So you take the girl to the bar, say, let's go get a drink, order something fruity, sex on the beach, kamikaze, something like that, lemon drop, whatever. Tell her it's going to be a slap shot. So have her take the shot, get her to hold it, bend over the bar as far as she can, and take it while she's right there. And she'll be like, what? Just do it. Just takes the shot, smack her on the ass, slap shot! That's one way I like to do that. I guess there's no more questions, so I'm just going to say, get out there. Wait.
One more question. Is there a website where people could go to find out more?
Oh, there is.
Hooray!
I should be doing shameless self-promotion a little bit more. Charmingrogue.com. It's charming, CHARMING, rogue, ROGUE.com. It's one of my sites. The other site is secretsofsamenightlays.com. And you can find my ebook there, my audio program, one-on-one coaching. As far as like boot camps and all that, just talk to me. I've kept them very underground. It's kind of just been something that people have whispered about. But right now, all of the programs I've done, everybody has same night laid. So I've got 100% success rate right now.
And we're
hoping to keep that.
What other things could one find on charmingrogue.com?
You can find the Same Night Lays interview series. You can find articles from me. You can find articles from a lot of the people in this room. El Topo. You're going to find articles from DJ Fuji. You're going to find stuff like that. It's kind of a resource site for everything that I think could actually be beneficial for a guy. I've interviewed some of the top seduction guys, a lot of the experts in the field, and they've been extremely popular. So if you haven't checked those out, definitely go check those out. And while you're there, why not get a copy of The Logistics of Same Night Lays? If you just sign up for my email list, I'll send that to you. I also will send an audio version of it. So that is there. I think that's it for plugging, shameless promotion. So get out there, guys. Oh, and I'm serious. I want to see each of you guys come up and show me a condom.